During my journeys, I've come across and met some really amazing women. Different ages, who came from different backgrounds, who lived different experiences. I had a plan of putting a talk show together with a cast of these unique women, talking about trending issues, celebrity buzz, maybe even a little gossip. These women are courageous, energetic, and eager to do something different. And so they joined forces with me. My name is Chela. Royal siblings, I'm your girl Queen Chela.
And I'm your girl Never Ending Nina.
And this is another episode of The Girls Next Door. Tonight is all about pride and joy.
It is such an amazing experience to be in community once again and celebrating what we know the icon, Miss Major's line is,
I'm still fucking here. So tonight, we're actually going to be talking to some of our siblings who are out there, who are pounding the pavement, who are making a difference in their own way. So stay tuned. Well, when it comes to the rundown, we had a rundown for sure. Talking about some of the current events that just recently happened. So I actually sat down with some of our siblings and take a look. Welcome to another episode of Queen Chela and the Girls Next Door. Tonight we're going to talk about a few things that we plucked from the internet, right? We use social media to have discussions. And so we said, well, you know what? Let's chime in on a few. So our first thing is the Met Gala. Mm-hmm. If you've been able to catch the Met Gala, you know that it was a black theme. Mm-hmm. Yes. It was all about dandyism. Yeah, and so beautiful. We had some of our best come out in their best.
And they did. I think
I'm going to say for me, oh my God, the girl of the night, the girl of all girls. If you do not know Miss Teyana Taylor,
well,
Miss Teyana
Taylor, She did eat that.
Yes,
off the bone.
She ate that.
Off the bone.
Clean.
Totally. Mm-hmm. She left no crumbs.
Mm-hmm. And I love that.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews, but Cardi ate for me too.
Yes,
absolutely. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely.
If I had to stand on that hill by myself, I would. Cardi ate that.
Cardi had a concept from head to toe, literally.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was the look.
Who was your favorite?
So I was gonna choose Rihanna because she's pregnant, and that was cute. Yeah. But then I thought about Miss Teyana Taylor, but then you took that, so now I had to reassess myself, and I'm like looking back. Was it Miss Aretha Franklin? No. Diana Ross.
How dare
I'm so sorry.
How dare you? Drag her outside this instant.
Why did you say that?
Diana, she didn't mean it.
The fact that we didn't say Diana first.
Yes.
Diana, she didn't mean it. We're so sorry. Diana.
Miss Diana Ross.
We must start with Diana.
Diana.
Miss Diana Ross.
Yes.
The Diana Ross.
Boots.
Now,
don't get us in trouble.
Be careful.
The moment she stepped onto that carpet, I was like, wow, all eyes was on her. She was just glowing. Her teeth were complimentary to the gown, to the goddess that she is, and she ate that down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always nice to see like one of the folks that they say are part of the blueprint of something come out and make a statement still, particularly as an older person. Mm-hmm. You know, she came and shut it down.
She did.
The fact that she had to have so many assistants to like spread out her train.
And Zendaya was just there
I didn't
helping her
see
too. Like, I
Diana.
love that.
You didn't see
I didn't see
Diana?
Diana. Oh. I was too focused on Tiana.
Well, that was the look.
She was goddess of the night for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
TNA.
Well, that also kind of explains like maybe a little age difference too, right? Like we older folks might give some real homage to our older icons, but Tayana definitely was fierce though. You know, I love how Tayana has this certain attitude about herself. Her fierceness just exudes.
She's from Harlem.
Yeah, she brings that through.
She gave like she owned the gala.
What about Janelle Monáe?
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe was the one that had sort of like the outer body shell, right?
Oh, fuck, I did see.
And then comes out of it.
Oh, I didn't
you see
her come
Janelle?
out of it.
Gorgeous.
I just saw her
Oh
in
my
it.
God.
Yeah, there was like this
there was
outer
another piece
shell
to that?
piece, and then they stood her there, and they open it, and she steps out of it, and there's like this. I think
stunning,
she's looking at it.
gorgeous.
It is
And then
so
she was
amazing.
like rotating when I saw it. It was like so beautiful. And another one that I wanted to highlight was you were mentioning like our, you know, older, wiser individuals and who showed up, and Mary J. Blige showed up, and I was like, wow, she ate that.
Mary.
Mary ate that down. Mary
Yeah.
ate that down.
I thought her hat was really unique.
I
It was
agree.
sort of like
That hat was
that.
that was so unique.
That was fab.
The hat was everything.
That was
Okay,
fab.
can I take a moment? Can I just give a little shout out to Russell and Sierra?
Oh my God,
I
Russell
just
and
tied her
Sierra
Russell
were
and
so
Sierra. They were
nice.
so cute.
They really give relationship goals.
They did the way he looked at her. And Mama in the shortcut. Sorry, let me give her piece on her side. Mama in the shortcut, she did that. And the way he looked at her was everything.
Wow.
And then to see Future like walk down after looking busted, that was a moment. At the same party to see your ex turn up looking a little busted.
Yeah.
Lifed on you.
When you see somebody and you're like, dang, I dodged a bullet.
Okay. Y'all have got to get into the behind the scenes. So I've been binge watching like as the celebrities come out of their hotels and they don't want anybody to see them. So they got like this team of people that's covering them in the umbrellas. When I tell you Doechii was tearing her team up, she did not want a soul to see her outfit until she hit the red carpet at the Met Gala.
And I'm not mad about it, as she should. Tear them up. You should know better. I'm not paying you to do half the job. You failed.
I actually thought Doechii kind of missed the mark a little bit. I thought that everything waist up
A generational
I thought
difference.
was really great. But
My anxiety.
I can't. My
It's
anxiety.
taking
I
over
know
me.
the saddest part is
sorry.
when they don't have a choice of what they're
My
wearing though. That's the
anxiety,
sad
girl.
part. They don't get to choose. I mean, like I'm sure she stood her ground and like said, I'm not wearing that. I want something else or like a different design. It would be a little insulting, but I feel like they would make something, you know, something better in mind.
Damn, I don't really. It didn't stand out. I'll give you that. Like I don't. I remember who I remember, and that wasn't one of them. But
So let's switch to those that weren't so memorable.
Yeah.
Notice how I phrased that? You know, Halle Berry.
Oh.
I didn't even see her.
I saw Holly.
Yeah.
It was very dry, very crusty Keisha. I didn't
No
see it.
crusty
for
Keisha.
her. I didn't see it. It was very regular degular.
Yeah, just like Hailey Bieber.
Oh, now that I did. Yeah, that I saw. Yikes.
So,
Sorry, honey.
how about Megan Thee Stallion?
I lived.
You did?
Down.
lived.
Oh
I
my
lived.
God, Megan.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it fit the theme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dandyism? Okay.
Dandyism.
Okay.
Yeah. She was serving what was on the menu.
Damn it! Okay, who else? Who else was in one of your favorites?
Okay, and I'll step out on that uncomfortable ledge and say I love Coleman Domingo. I do. Oh,
okay,
God.
which one? Because he changed a few times.
It was the like black and white. I'm just used to seeing him in so much color.
Okay.
I'm used to, and I love him in all the color. And so I think maybe that was the shock. And I, that probably was me because I did hear a lot of people lived, and I'm not here to take that from them, but.
Okay.
Hey.
I love that, like, a lot of people was eaten down, and a majority of them were women. But, like, the men, it was, I feel like it was harder for the men to give. It was harder for them to turn my head. I don't know why. But there were some models that were definitely doing the do. Okay? I was like,
all right. Well, it's safe to say that the Met Gala had plenty of folks who slayed, and certainly enough that, breaked out a little bit. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bricks, have you heard that the bricks built the house that the dolls live in? What do you think what that means?
that's very interesting.
I don't talk bricks. I don't really
speak
know.
it. However, I do feel like I have the mental capacity to elaborate on the topic, but correct me if I'm wrong. I see it as a psychological standpoint where it's in a transitional phase from maybe, demasculizing and demasculinating yourself, like separating yourself from everything masculine, in a way, and then moving into the feminine world where you're completely taking on that role and living that life and doing you. I feel like that's maybe where I see where it says, like, they built the house for the dolls in the sense that they were kind of like the protectors as this, and then when we transitioned, we're more like the dolls in the sense of we're softer, we're, more demure. Oh my gosh, that's just my a psychological standpoint. Like,
Okay.
like everybody started as a brick.
I agree. That was actually the words that was going to come out of my mouth.
So are you saying that brick is a stage?
Yes.
Okay.
Brick is
It's
psychologically.
It's a stage. Is it ground
My
A?
opinion.
Ground zero? Ooh, I don't want to get in trouble, but it's the brick stage of your. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Honestly, that quote needs to be thrown out.
I know some people are out there like, wait a minute, bitch. I didn't have no brick stage.
Throw it out.
Okay, because now we're crossing into that.
I think that was good. That was good.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
So is it also safe to say that
God.
we can use brick as a reference, like an umbrella term that maybe folks use trans as an umbrella term?
Yes, that's what I was. That was my thought process. So you get it.
Okay.
That's exactly
okay.
how I was thinking.
What do you?
So thank you
ladies
for clarifying it.
Okay. Yes, we got a little progress.
Yes.
So I feel like two things. One, I feel like Cece said, brick it's like a mindset. Usually when you first transition, you're pretty much in your head. I remember being on the bus after like getting my first 2 shots, and I'm just looking around at everybody like, I know they got it. I'm clocked. So I feel like it's just a mindset that you have to grow out of and grow into your true womanhood.
Yeah.
And then 2, I feel like we have to stop allowing these gay men to set standards for what a trans woman is supposed to look like. Because there's no such thing as a standard. I feel like every woman is unique in their own way, and they can develop into their own beauty.
You ate that.
So yes.
Yeah.
Well, just to be clear, brick came from ballroom, and so that could give us the understanding on why the gay siblings use that term. In my young days, it was brought to me that like brick is your beginning stage. Brick is an element of your growth, right? Like you are a budding rose, right? Which is AKA a brick, right? You may not be as soft as you want to be or will be, right? So, yeah, even me, I know I'm so soft and cunt, and so all of that. But yeah, everybody has their brick stage. It doesn't mean that you're hard or that you have these jaw lines or these shoulders. It just simply means that you're rough around the edges.
Oh, MG.
No. Yeah. But we all have the stages. But also, it was a way of knowing, it was an indicator on what our safety level was, right? If you are coming up in an urban neighborhood, you know, where you have to walk past the fellas or the dudes, then it's one of those things you have to be aware of your brickness or your fishiness, right? One of the tests of our era was your
Don't
fish,
say it.
was how you were. Hey, it was the best. It was better than the SAT, right?
Well.
It was, you had to walk through a neighborhood,
The stroll.
neighborhood. It could be the stroll. It could be the block. And if you weren't able to walk through that block successfully without getting your eye punched in or your stomach kicked in, then you passed the test. But if they stopped you, you knew you was getting your butt whooped. And that's for you were a brick. And you needed to go back to... No, it only meant that you needed to work on your aesthetic.
See, we're getting in trouble. I think, can I step in? Can I have a
Yes,
take?
absolutely.
Let me take a slice. I have like a sister soldier perspective.
Yeah.
So when I hear the term that the bricks built the house that the dolls live in, I actually, and connecting it to ballroom, I'm not a ballroom girl, so don't come for me. I think about like the 50s and 60s when you really couldn't get a moan, or, you know, you had to have privilege or power. You had to have resources in order to get a moan. I'm thinking like Christine Jorgensen, right? She got her work done in the 50s or whatever, what have you.
access to
Black and
makeup.
brown trans women at that time couldn't access all that. Right? So I think that the baseline standard in terms of a transition was a social one, unless you hold and had some money and could make it a medical one. Right? So there was a world in which you just had your makeup, your hair, your, right? But maybe it didn't round things out or soften your edges. Maybe you got into a little couch cushion and made a hip, right? Or something like that. But, you know, other than that, you didn't have access to a medical transition. So how I understood brick, similar to yours, a starting out point. You rough around the edges, you'll soften up over time. Let the moan do its work. Let the moan take you. Don't take the moan, let the moan take you.
Yes.
Right? That wasn't around in like the 50s and 60s and accessible for Black and brown trans women. So those are the same girls that fought so that us today could have access. You know, Trump trying to do whatever, what have you. But still, right? And so that's how I understand that the dolls are living in a house built by bricks, right? It's talking about who the dolls were once upon a time and what they had to navigate through and fight for what gave us what we have.
How did we
that's
get here
what
as a
that
community?
means. Right. So we obviously have more now than they did, and that obviously is like the point of their fight and struggle and movement.
Good point.
Absolutely. Now, also, I think part of the conversation is like, well, once you become, quote unquote, socially beautiful, right? Or socially soft, does that mean that you are no longer a part of this community? And in my opinion, no, we're still one, just that we're all in a different place in that journey,
What about the dolls that are, sorry, the bricks that are fighting for their right in this modern day era of gender expression?
They deserve
To
it.
have their identity as a doll, but keep their expression bricky, and to not be asked to move forward.
Conform.
Good question.
Conform to like a trans binary existence. I support it. That's not my business.
Yeah.
It's none of my business.
Live your life.
That's not my business. I don't have an input. I think that bricks deserve to exist.
Yeah. I mean, wear that in pride. At some point, you have to. If that is what you're choosing to do, particularly if you don't want to have any enhancements or any hormonal treatment, then you're going to wear that with pride. But it doesn't mean that you're less than.
Yeah.
I do feel like, though, that our fishier girls or our more advanced girls should definitely pour into our girls that may feel like they are in their brick stage or in their brick era, and just teach them how to elevate into their fishness.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think we're saying that being a brick is a choice, is what folks may want.
Well, there are certainly people who do identify,
Yeah.
right? And people choose not to even take moans, right? And that's a real way of showing up. Like, that's what we've been saying. Like, who actually is anybody to tell anybody that
That's
I can't
right.
be who I said I am? So,
Your journey is yours.
yeah, and I can't be up here asking you to, right, respect who I am and not also try to make room for your freedom as well, right? Message.
Don't touch that dial.
We'll be right back.
As we mentioned before, that this episode is about resilience and folks who are out there trying to bring joy to the world. And so we had a chance to talk to a few of our siblings that are doing just that.
That's right, Queen. I had a wonderful conversation with one of those individuals, the legendary Scotty.
Jeanette Madden.
Yes.
Woohoo! Yes, we're so excited that we get to produce her upcoming production of Solo in June. So please make sure you check us out. June 14th is the UWC night. So I'm glad you had a chance to talk to her.
Check out this conversation. Greetings, everyone. I am Never Ending Nina, and I'm here with Scotty Jeanette Madden. Today, we're going to discuss and talk about this great opportunity of artistry that she is producing, this wonderful play entitled Solo. Get ready, get ready, get ready. What made you come up with the solo?
Oh wow! It's in the water right now, in the air. It's saturated with misogyny and sexism and racism, and so we're gonna take them all on. Yeah.
And what was the initial birthing of the story for you?
It's full disclosure. I'm almost 63 years old.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's good being a doll.
Yes.
Don't hate us because we're beautiful.
Yes.
But there's a thing that when you're a middle-aged woman, as soon as you're unfuckable, then you
Wake it up.
become irrelevant, in society. And so that's really what this is all about. It's hopefully a chance to kind of take it on. There's something that we as trans women share with the cis women, and they I want to touch their hearts and remind them that we're all, that's what we all go through.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where we're sisters as well.
Right. That's what's up. So Solo is set 90 years in the future, yet it speaks to the present. What are you hoping the audience, their takeaways, what they might what is appealing for them and in the aspect of you creating this?
Well, the full disclosure, as a trans woman and as an artist, I'm loath to give away the third act, but um, as a trans artist, surprise, she's trans, right? So I'm hoping that stays within our community when we go to see the play, so that the cis people that do watch it will feel the full weight of what that means.
Right.
Because disclosure is something that's still batted around, and no one ever asks us about disclosure. It's foisted upon us. So much of the experience of being a woman, being a trans woman, is that people make all these decisions for you, and so when we try to take some agency, the Supreme Court takes it away.
My
So,
God.
I mean, we're kind of tap into all that kind of stuff. But art gives you a chance to hit things at an oblique angle. And that means it can go in a little bit harder. I mean, you know this from your music. Your music can hit someone straight in the heart.
Yeah.
It bypasses all their bullshit. And
Yeah.
so that's what drama does too. And this is a dark comedy. So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited for that. With and speaking of navigating the space in artistry, especially being in Hollywood and navigating that space and your authenticity, you have been associated with Hollywood Fringe. And so it's known for bold, independent storytelling. For you, how has this space challenged and uplifted you as a trans creative?
That's a really good question. It's my entire career has always been about hitting an air date, and so you get to play within it. I mean, if you look over my filmography and my videography, I always pushed the envelope on every single genre that I was in, mostly because I just tell stories,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'm telling stories with somebody else's money, Discovery Channel, you got to kind of give them what they want. Right. And so, the thing about, first of all, theater, and Fringe in general, Fringe is known for there's no criteria, just show it up and do it, and the audience wants that. They want to see something new. They want to see something they've never seen before. So I'm trying to bring a little bit of some theatrical stuff that hasn't necessarily been seen before, though we're using some video elements. Part of it is just practicality. The other thing about Fringe is it's a sport. You have to get in and get out. I have 30 minutes to load in. So that meant that this big elaborate idea for a set I had was, 86th first. Yeah, that's a great idea. Some other time, because we have to go in and set up the set in 30 minutes. So that kind of changes the perspective, and it puts the onus back on storytelling. And that's a challenge. That's a good challenge. That's what I love, is you get a chance to really, inside of that box, you can make anything happen.
As the creator of this wonderful play, why did you decide to call it Solo?
Well, it's kind of a joke, right? It's Commander Jane believes that she has signed up for a solo mission because she's trying to leave the patriarchy behind. So she's going 4 light years away. And she learns, without her consent, her mission has changed when she first comes out of suspended animation.
Oh, wow.
And this dude appears, and she says, I signed up for a solo mission. I don't need any help. And he goes, I am not here to help. I'm here to make sure you do a good job. I am the overseer. So, and then comedy ensues.
As in life.
As in life. Fucking dudes follow us all the way out to it, 4 light years away.
Well, that's amazing. I can't wait to get into Solo. The action steps, because we know the date is Saturday, I believe, June 14th, correct?
That's right. That's opening night.
And tell the people, what do they need to do in order to be in the house on that beautiful day?
Well, yeah. So I thank you for that, because what I really want to say is, like, UWC and Queen Chela in particular is, like, unbelievably generous. She's the fiscal sponsor for Solo, and so we decided that, like, on premiere night, that is UWC night. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to show up. We have 66 seats. All shows are free, but on that night, it's opening night. So show up. and fill the stage. We're going to have a red carpet. We're going to do it upright. The thing about a fiscal sponsor is that Queen's working as hard as I am. Like she has to be. She's earning everything that she's said that she wanted to do. She's doing it, and I'm like unbelievably grateful for her generosity.
Yes.
Because
Thank you so much, Scotty Jeanette Madden, for being with us on today's episode.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, and stay tuned for more. Follow us, like, share, and subscribe
at the UWC Official.
Hello?
Hi, Miss Fancy Lady. It's really ain't a good time right now. My son's coming in a minute.
Dad, I'm your daughter, Desiree. I've always been Desiree.
We haven't spoken in a while.
How long?
23 years.
What happened? This place looks exactly the same.
Well, you know what they say. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ooh, that's broke. I gotta fix it.
We have a very special surprise guest. She ran a very fancy art gallery in New York City. That's where Taylor Swift buys sunglasses.
So what happened up there? I arranged for gallery space, and then my funding fell through.
Your bus broke.
And your lip of your mama broke.
Oh, she brought jokes with her from New York.
Don't gaslight me, Dad.
I wouldn't do that because I don't know what that is. To my daughter.
To our daughter.
Can I get your number?
All right, pass.
So there has been a lot of confusion and a lot of chaos surrounding the executive orders, right, from our administration, particularly when it comes to trans athletes.
And I recently had an opportunity to sit down with CC, one of our good community members, to discuss more.
Hi, my name is CC Telfer. I'm an athlete, author, advocate, and model. I became a national champion and Olympic hopeful in 2019 at the NCAA Division II National Championships, which is why I'm here today. When you become an Olympic athlete like me, Olympic hopeful athlete like me, it comes with a lot of barriers, which is why I want to talk about SB 622, which is not just any bill, but another attack on fairness, dignity, and inclusion. SB 622 is a proposed California law that would ban transgender girls and women from competing on women's sports teams or girls' teams in schools. This sends a dangerous message to our youth that instead of protecting them, their identity or who they are is a problem that needs to be solved. That is not something that we should be talking about. We should be talking about health, wellness, and fairness on all grounds. So, speaking from my personal experience as an athlete, I feel as though that we should be judged solely on our abilities and our skills rather than our identity. And I've lost out on a lot of coaching, a lot of facilities, and even friends because I chose to live in my authenticity and follow my Olympic hopes, dreams, and goals. And with that, I've been left with pretty much nothing, but one thing that's always been there is God and my community. So with that being said, I tried to, rely on my support system and my surroundings for whatever I can do. So my day-to-day, I train and do whatever I can at the gym, my closest gym. And just try to stay fit, stay smart, and stay ready. So when the time comes for me to compete, I'll be ready to go and represent for my community. And I feel like I know and feel like every child and trans youth and non-binary youth deserve the right to compete and train and, play sports with their peers. And they deserve the life-saving ability that sports gives when you are involved and you're out there and you're training with your friends and you're learning skills like collaborative skills and learning how to get back up when you go down. And these are very important things that we need to be taught as kids, and especially as trans and non-binary youth. These are life-saving skills. So keep your head up, stay strong, and let's keep moving forward and say no to SB 622.
As we all know in community, that artistry is a main way that we can continue to fight in resilience and how we show up in our authenticity. And speaking of music,
Yeah, I actually sat down with some of our music makers and the voices and our siblings who use their voice to lift others. And so, yes, I did get a chance to sit down with our friend and sibling Abby from the Trans Chorus of Los Angeles. And whoa, it was juicy.
look forward to this conversation next.
Well, Abby, welcome to the Girls Next Door.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Glad you're here. How are you feeling?
I am feeling book busy and blessed right now.
Oh,
It's
come
Pride
on.
season.
Yes.
It is Pride season. We are busy.
Everyone gets active during
Yeah,
Pride season,
yeah.
right? So,
It's the only time of the year we really exist.
y'all hear that? That's a read.
Yes, yes.
So we want to talk a little bit more about the Trans Chorus of Los Angeles.
Awesome.
So, like you mentioned, it's Pride season. So I can imagine that your calendar is pretty big and pretty thick, right?
Yes, indeed. We went from having not many gigs in May and June to now when I look at the calendar, I'm like, we're doing something practically 3 days out of the week, all the way up until July.
Wow, that's
which
amazing.
is really good. I'm not complaining.
And you,
The best thing about July is we are singing at San Diego Pride on the
okay.
main stage.
Oh, snaps. I love
Yeah.
that.
Usually, they put the trans groups at some other stage.
That you have to travel so far. to.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And this time they were like, we're going to put you on the main stage. And it's really cool because we have been doing a lot of collaborations with Mariachi Arcoiris.
Okay.
So they're going to be
They're
in San
amazing.
Diego as well. So we're going to get to do a little set
Oh, wow,
for San Diego Pride. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm going to
that's
bring them on
fun.
for the last 2 numbers, which is really good. We do a song called A mi manera, which is my way in Spanish.
Mm.
So we have Yaya, who is an amazing young trans woman, Latine, start singing it in Spanish. And then we have our oldest member. Don't kill me for saying that, but you know who you are. Catherine. She is our oldest member who sings My Way in English. And then at the end, you have 2 trans women, one older, one younger, turning towards the audience and saying how they did it their way. And, music is just such a powerful medium. And that's what I like to do with our music. I like to tell stories of our experience through music.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love the way that even the setup sounds really like that's real production value. I love
Thank
that.
you.
And to have the 2 groups together, that's
Yeah.
really good. I was going to ask you about your set list, but you just kind of gave us some insight to that. So, what
Yes.
day is the San Diego Pride?
San Diego Pride is Sunday, July 20th.
Okay.
So that's leading all the way up, but starting this Sunday, the 25th. Oh my gosh. See what I mean about Pride? This Sunday, May 25th, 5:30 p.m. at the Renberg Theater, we are doing Viva Trans, which is with Mariachi Arcoiris and us, and we're doing some amazing numbers. We're doing a Latin mass in Spanish called the Misa Criolla.
Okay.
So the choristers, we've all had to work on our Spanish.
Oh,
We're still working, but it's coming along. But it's been such a great collaboration with them. Such a great collaboration. And we're going to be doing a couple of other numbers with them as well. And then we just go right into Pride season from there. So it's good.
gosh,
We're
that's really
using our
busy.
voices.
And how do folks like stay abreast of your schedule? How can they find out where you are?
Excuse me, you could check the transchorusla.org and Transchorus LA on all social media, or you can look me up, Abdullah Rasheen, on all social media as well.
I love that. So when we come back, we're going to talk about how the trans course is handling with the political environment out there. So don't go too far. We'll be right back. And we're back. So I was just sitting down with our sibling Abby from the Trans Chorus of Los Angeles, talking about their busy schedule. So remember to check out San Diego Pride. It's coming up. You can check out the TCLA's website, also our website. We'll put a link up there. But in times of political warfare, which the environment that we're enduring right now is pretty thick for us, how are you using your voice and the course's voice for resilience and hope?
Oh, wow. That is a great question. How we are using our voices right now is one, our motto is changing the trans narrative from victim to victorious. And in this political climate right now, where so many people in our community are scared or feeling hopeless or just don't know what to do, just sitting it out, we as singers, as artists, during rough political times, it's the artist who's always able to give the most voice. So I made it a motto, along with some colleagues through gala choruses, which I'll tell you about in a moment, that they asked, what are you doing for the trans community? How are you going to fight this? And I said, our music is our protest. So every song we sing, everything we do this season will be peppered in with songs to let others know you can be resilient. We actually have a song called Resilience. You can have courage, the courage to be who you are. And you can also let this administration know you can't erase us. And those are song titles that we have. So you have to be really strategic when you're running in the artist field politically right now. There's a lot of big artists being canceled. They just dragged Beyonce for something just the other day that they're saying is too political, and journalists who are losing their jobs, people who are the truth tellers and the storytellers. That's what they're trying to silence. But music, you can always convey what is going on there. So that's how we're doing it. Our music is our protest.
I love that. Do you feel like you are getting any pushback with this, or is it open arms?
It's a little bit of both, because I have to be conscientious as the artistic director that though I might feel this way politically, not all of my choristers might feel that way. Like anything in the LGBTQ plus community, we have to realize when we look at organizations like HRC, we can't assume that every queer identified person, LGBTQ identified person is the same politically aligned.
Yes.
There's a lot of us. About 12% of us in queer communities voted for the other side. So how do we embrace all of our community before they come and pick us off? Through music, through the arts, and that's what we're doing with TCLA. There's a bigger community called Gala Choruses, which is the Gay and Lesbian Choral Association, but it encompasses every LGBTQ plus and trans identified chorus throughout all of North America, Mexico, Canada. There's one in the Ukraine. There's one in Uganda. There's one in China. People coming together, queer identified people coming together, LGBTQ plus people coming together and bringing their voices together in solidarity and protest. You know, the songs are what kept us going, you know, especially as Black Americans. That song kept us going. Those songs were the songs of freedom. You may be oppressed and being beaten down, but the songs are used for upliftment, they're used for education, and they're used for hope. And that's the best thing you could do with that.
They always say that music can, get us through some of the toughest storms in our journey.
Yeah.
And so sounds like this group is about to put together their own version of We Are the World.
Oh,
Wouldn't
yes,
that be
yes,
something?
yes. Yes,
Let's
yes,
put that
yes.
out there.
I look at it. Thank you. I'm receiving that from the universe right now.
That would be
Right
amazing.
now. Yes.
Wow, this has been absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I'm already fond of being able to share space with you, just in the building, the Connie, but now to have you down at the couch with us, it's another level. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you and the work that you're doing with the trans chorus, and Make it and just putting your voice out there is one of our, you know, beacons of light.
Thank you.
Really. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thank you for all that you do. And, you know, like our most famous song says, you have more friends than you know. That's what we want the trans community to know. That's what we want everyone to know, that we are part of love and light. And we deserve a place and a space right here in these great United States.
Hello, somebody. And on that note, we're going to commercial to pay some of these bills.
Yes.
But remember to check out the Trans Chorus. And what is your Instagram or website?
transchorusla.org, and it's the same on all social media. And you can reach me at Abdullah Rasheen. That's ABDULLAHRASHEEN, or just look up Abby. You can't spell baby without spelling Abby. Wow, what another great episode.
Woo! I mean, so thick. I love it.
Filled with joy, resilience, and just loving on each other and what they represent. So,
and even during this time, we know it's really hard sometimes to find joy in things. And so we're so glad that we've been able to collect some of these pieces to bring some joy to you. And speaking of, on our way out, we actually went to a few events this last few weeks, you know, that really exuded joy. And one of them had our girl Nina.
yes. So thankfully, I was a part of this world-renowned artist exhibit, Zanele Muhali. They represent in the artist space, and their exposition was opening at the Southern Guild in Los Angeles, and they chose about 19 individuals to represent Black, queer, Black LGBTQIA plus community. And I happen to be in that number. And of course, you know what UWC do? We storm and show up and come through. And so it was a wonderful event and acknowledgement. And I'm just happy to continue expanding what we get to experience as authentic Black trans women, representing ourselves in all capacities. And so we had a wonderful time, and what a way to kick off Pride and the continued elevation of community and artistry.
Absolutely. And the second event was Trans Joy Day by Flux, an annual event for trans and non-binary folks to love on one another. And so take a look. So today is about joy. And I want us to pause right there, because joy is not just a feeling. Joy is an action word. It's something you can choose, something you can give, and it's something that you can make room for. Sometimes we think joy has to be grand, but real joy is in the everyday. That first sip of coffee, the sound of your key unlocking the door to your space, your peace, the moment you laugh so hard with your people that the memory lives on long after. That's joy. Trans joy is radical, it's resistance, it's survival, it's healing. And joy, real joy, is seeing the next generation of leaders step into their power and take their place at the table and build on the legacy we've nurtured with love and struggle. That's when you realize the work is working. So today, as we hold this space together, choose joy, feel it, share it, build it, because we are so worthy of it. We're not here just because. We're built to inspire, and we're here on purpose. Happy Trans Joy Day, family. Let's keep choosing joy. And always be nice to your neighbor. She could be a girl next door.